Oh, Devin is at it again. I got Devin at it again, talking that ish again, man. Before we get into that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos. I'm cruising my way back home after working a little bit. Best job in the world, man. I could work 4 hours some days. I could work an hour. I still get paid the same. Still get that fat check. So I try to work as little as possible. Short hours as possible. Average 4 hours a day. Can't complain. But anyway, so when it comes to Devin was talking that ish, man, about Lomancheko, and he was also talking junk about Gervonta Tank Davis again. I guess he was trying to clown them about them, quote, ducking him and not wanting to fight him and all this other stuff. But I mean, what I always say when it comes to these situations is when you make certain decisions, if they don't pan out for you, you can't start crying about it. You can't start bitching about it. You know, you make a bed, you have to lay in it. You know, see, I don't forget about the moves that people make and the reasons that they pretend that they made those moves. See, a lot of people, when time passes, they forget about all the things that happen. And they forget about the logistics of things as well. And they just hear some guy yelling, and they'll just be screaming, yeah, he don't want to fight him. Yeah, he's scared, he's shook, yeah. People forget, Devin was on Showtime, right? Devin was working with Showtime, and they were doing a great job with promoting him, with pushing him, a whole lot better than DAZN. But he was in a space where he could really flourish when it comes to him being pushed as a fighter. And what has been cool about him being on Showtime also was the fact that he would have been on a platform where PBC works with them. You know, so which means he would have had certain fighters available to him. You know, he would have had certain relationships that would have been available to him, right? You know, which one of them, ironically, also is Tank Davis, who consistently fights on what? On Showtime. And the other great thing about being on Showtime is the fact that most of PBC's fights now are on, they're on Fox. So Showtime really looks for people, you know, and content, you know, to put onto their network when it comes to boxing. So guess who would have been having a huge push and would have been getting heavy promotion, because they not only is it with the fights, they also do great shoulder programming as well that they could have been doing for him to build him up as a fighter. And due to the fact that he also wanted to be a promoter, he would have been in a situation where he could have highlighted whoever fighters he's going to sign. He could have highlighted them a lot better on a network like that. But what he chose to do was he chose to go ahead and sign with DAZN. You know, because the reason that supposedly he said he signed with DAZN and he signed with whatever that promoter is. My brain is gone today, but we're still doing the video. He signed with damn, I really forgot this dude's name. That's crazy. The UK promoter. Y'all know who it is, with the big mouth. He signed also with him. And in doing so, he put himself into a bad situation, because DAZN was a network that was going real hard, trying to steal a lot of the PBC fighters when they first came along. Trying to just offer them all different offers and things of that nature behind, you know, PBC and Al Heyman's back. But it pretty much didn't work. You know, they got none of the major fighters, like zero. So it didn't work. But that right there already caused an issue, and it caused damage. You know, the other issue was with him signing that particular deal, it put him to a space where he's locked in to fight on that network. He can't move. It's not like he can just go fight on ESPN, or he can just go on Showtime and then come back to DAZN, regardless of what people might say. He's locked in. He has to fight on DAZN. They have millions invested in him. He has a multi-fight, multi-million-dollar deal. So he has to fight on DAZN, right? And the reason he did it was because he believed that with who he was signing with the promoter, that Eddie Hearn was going to be able to get him the Lomancheko fight. So he wasn't looking for Tank. Tank wasn't on his mind. Tank wasn't his focus. His focus was Lomancheko, right? And Eddie Hearn has done work with Top Rank and, you know, actually with Lomancheko also as well. So with, you know, with whatever Eddie Hearn was telling him, he figured that this man knows what he's going to do and he's going to be able to get me this fight. Well, didn't happen. Didn't work out for him. You know, the biggest thing that they've done with Devin Haney is put him on a undercard of YouTubers that were fighting. That's the biggest thing. And then Top Rank said, F you. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do the fight with Devin Haney. What we're going to do is try to do an in-house fight between him, you know, we're going to do an inside fight instead. Where regardless of who wins the fight, we're good because we control who the winner is. So, and got him a franchise belt instead. This quote franchise belt from the WBC. Because they weren't going to fight Devin Haney. I said, F that. That's something that we're not going to do. We rather have an in-house fight against Lopez where we reap the benefits. So the person he signed to wasn't able to make this deal for him. So he was effed. So that's when he started calling out and yapping about fighting Tank Davis. I want to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis scared to fight me, blah, 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 blah. But Tank Davis has been making it, and his team has been making it very, very clear for a long time that Tank's not fighting on DAZN. Tank's not fighting on a closed app. Tank's going to be, you know, consistently fighting on Showtime, whether it be Showtime or Fox. We're going to build him up. He's a star. We're going to build him up into a pay-per-view star. And he's going to be in full control of whatever fight he does. So they can offer him whatever they want to offer him, you know, to go to DAZN. He's not doing it. He's not going to that network. He's made that very, very, very clear. And Devin Haney put himself into a bad situation because he's stuck on that network. He can't go anywhere else. And again, when it comes to him and Tank Davis, he's the D side. Tank Davis has done 3 major shows, one in LA, one at home in Baltimore, and one in Atlanta, and especially one in Atlanta, lit. Packing up the venues. With a substantial amount of people, stars coming up there. Built himself up to the point where he can talk about the damn freaking sparring session, and that gets more traction than what these other dudes like a Devin Haney would get if he was sitting there talking trash about Lomancheko and talking trash about Tank Davis. That's the level he's got himself to, you know. So when it comes to setting up a bout like that, you would have to go where he wants you to go. You'd have to do what he wants you to do. You can't play boss man. You can't play the A side. No one at 135 pounds and under can play that. 140 pounds and under can play that with him. Nobody. With the space he's got himself into. So you put yourself into this effed up situation where there's one fight that you'd like to get, you wouldn't be able to get anyway because you can't leave the zone. And this other fight, the promoter said F you and skated off. So now you put yourself into an effed up situation, you know, where you got this belt, but you're messed up, and you might even lose the Campbell fight. They didn't even get you the Fortuna fight. The Fortuna get the Cuban fight. That would have been a big fight. Against Fortuna, that's a big fight. I would be super interested in that because it'll be a step up in competition and kind of see what he deals with when it comes to that. Looks like Campbell's going to be fighting, might fight Ryan Garcia. So where does that leave him, Devin Haney? Where does that leave him? Who's he going to fight? And this is all due to the relationships that he chose, you know, to build, and the places that he decided to go. You know, this is the bet that he's made. You know, just like Ryan Garcia, just choosing to sign with Top Rank again. I mean, to sign with Golden Boy again. To continue being on DAZN, where you're this big, huge star out, you know, when it comes to social media, which would help you if you were to fight on like a Fox, where your fans, who are mostly young, could actually watch you, and you could build that young fan base. But you thought short-term money, not long-term money. You know, didn't look at it long-term and what you could build. Didn't look at it like that. Looked at that little check they gave you. Devin Haney looked at that check, that upfront check, and that promoter that quote could do something. That's what he did. And he closed his eyes. and he closed his eyes to what he could have built and what could have been available to him. He was nearsighted. He made decisions, and now he's paying for it. But he can't complain. He did this all to himself. You know, he did it all to himself. And he has to ride it out. And once that contract is over, hopefully he's intelligent enough to make better decisions. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.